What's up? What's up? Let me get a link to this broadcast and pop it onto Twitter. See who shows up. Never finished. What is going on? Today I tried to build this airplane window. It's got the cool little animated clouds. You can click the shade right here and open and close it. I think it's a great exercise for working with Flexbox and Position Absolute. So I'm going to just rebuild it. I actually got inspired by this from a code pen by Raul Aguilar. So be sure to check him out. Does pretty much the same thing. Really liked it, so wanted to build it. Let's do it in Webflow. All right, I'm going to start with a div. Drag that on the screen. I'll call this page. 100% width and a min height of 100 viewport heights. We'll flex center this thing. And we need to give it a nice little background color. White smoke. I want that white smoke. There it is. Let me save it. Okay, now we're going to make our window. We'll call this window outer. Make it something like 25 rem by, I don't know, 30 rem. Let's see if that works for now. Maybe a little bit less. Let's go with 24. And I'm going to create an outline, make it 5 pixels, something not so dark, but not so light. Give it a border radius. We'll start with 100 pixels. And now I'm just going to make this thing flex center as well. Drop another div inside. Make it 90% width. Not quite. 80. Bring it down a little more. 76, 75. And height. 80's looking kind of good. Let's come to our outline. Let me get the color that we used here. Save that as a swatch. Dim gray, and this will be something less, like 80 pixels. Set the width back to 5 so it matches the outer. It's not quite there. That looks pretty good. Let me set the outline on this to the right color. Well, it is the right color, but set it to the swatch. All right. And let's have a look at what we've got so far. There's a nice little box shadow on this outer. So I'm going to drop that on there. 180, 0 distance. I don't know, set that to 30. And it's black, right? Yeah. Where are we? Give me some blur. Max blur. I always hear to not overdo it with box shadow, so in that vein, I'm going to try to not overdo it here. I'm already thinking this thing is too wide, but we'll just keep moving for now. What do we need to do next? Let's do the shade next. We'll work on that. Going to drop that right here. Call this shade. This should be inside. Oh, let's call this window inner. And our shade is inside of that. And I'm going to make width 100%. Height, we'll just set to 50% for now, but we'll change this. And we'll do another outline. Give it some color. What was it last? Oh, not opacity. I want to set the width to 5 and the border radius to 80 pixels. I think it was 70, I guess. Yeah. And I think this has a bit of a box shadow as well, so let's add that now since we're down here. 180 degrees, distance 1, big time blur, and I don't really like that it was blurring up here as well, so if we set the distance a little bit higher, I think we're good to go there for now. I can also overflow hidden this window inner, and that will help us be good to go. Let's go ahead and add the indicator at the bottom. this is going to be set using Position Absolute. So I've got a div block here. It's going to be a child of our shade div. And we'll call this indicator wrap. Position Absolute, set to the bottom. Now anytime we set Position Absolute, we want to go to the parent element and set that position to relative. And so now this thing is where we want it to be. And I'll set its width to something like 50%, and then auto margin on left and right so that it's centered. I'll bring the width down a little more actually, maybe 30%, maybe 40, maybe 30, who knows. And we'll space it 1 rem from the bottom. And I'm gonna give it 0.5 rem, not pixels, 0.5 rem of padding on either side. By either side, I mean top and bottom. And then I'll drag the indicator light right inside that. Call this indicator light. And indicator wrap, let's just center all that stuff. This is going to have a height of 1 rem and a width of 2 rem. Now let's be sure to set the color on this indicator wrap so that we can see what's going on. I want it to be a little bit darker. Sure. 50 VDubs. It's too tall, that's for sure. So let's change the height here to 0.5 rem. And then give this some sort of color. Looking for some chartreuse. Let me get some chartreuse. Okay. That's all the time you get, Leary. Give that thing some rounded corners. Coming together now with the indicator light. Still looks a little large. I like the padding on the top and bottom like this one has. What if we kind of bring this down a little bit? 0.3. It's looking a little bit better. And good enough for government work, so we will move on. I think we should tackle the sliding of the shade here next. Oh, we got a visitor. What is up, Heather Lou? I wonder who this girl is. One of my stalkers. Oh, you want purple on the indicator? Yeah, let's do purple. Yeah, that looks way better. You're right, babe. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Let's set this thing's height to 100%. And now we're going to make the interaction. The way this interaction is going to work, I'll cover this here real quick. Nope, we're not going to do transitions. We're going to do 2D and 3D transforms, and I'm just going to move this thing from, where do we want to start it from? Looks like 85% to what, 0%? Yeah, negative 85%. So let's go ahead and pop into the interactions pane, and we're going to make an element trigger on mouse click. Start an animation. What do we want? Close shade? Yeah, let's start with close shade. This thing is going to move starting from negative 85%. So this is set as the initial state. And then the next state will be to 100%. No, 0%, because we set the initial transform to what? Something. I think 100%. Anyways, doesn't matter because we got it now. So we'll go to Out Expo with that and play it so we can see. Wow, look at that. Looks beautiful. Go ahead and save. And we're going to do, on second click, we want to open the shade. So let's duplicate this. Select it, hit the gear icon, open shade. Delete this one here. Remove set as initial state. 0.5 is good. I'm going to go to Out Expo again. And that's going right where we need it to be. So I will save that. And let's go preview mode and see if we can click this thing. And we can. So that is done. Let's move over to, what's something, thinking about something. Oh, yeah. Let's change the cursor on this little indicator wrap so that people can see that this is clickable. The pointer now. Okay, good. We're our good UX designers here. And I drag another div inside of shade. And this I'm going to call, what do we want to call this? Like inner, shade inner. I'll just call it sky. A little bit different, but that's what it's going to be. Width 100%, height 100%. And why are you up there? Is it because that's position relative? Let's center everything. That didn't work. Let's make it absolute and cover, and it's still not working. Set this to something like, actually, yeah, this is going to be kind of what I'm trying to build is this inner gray part here. So we'll go ahead and fix that. I think it's because, yep, I made it a child of shade, but it needs to be a child of window inner. And now everything's busted. So, and that is because we set it to position absolute. So we get rid of that. And now we're in business. We definitely want the shade to be on top. And since it's the second sibling, it should remain on top. And I'm not going to call this sky. I'm just going to call this inner for now. And let's go ahead and make this, I don't know, 80% and 80%. Ah, okay. Now we know where we're at. So I'm actually going to, on window inner, this is going to get flex center center. And this one here, why are you not centering? The shade is height 100%. It's going to be fine once I preview, but let me remove this transform just so that I know what's going on. Ah, okay. So it's because neither of these is set to absolute, so they're both kind of stacking on top of each other. So to fix that, we can set this to absolute. We'll set the inner to relative. And we'll set this to, well, this can actually take up space. But my shade, I want to put that transform back on so that we're kind of back where we were. Perfect. Let's give this a z index of 1 so it appears on top. It's not appearing on top, of course. Still not appearing on top. Bummer. Let's make this relative. Give this z index 1 and this z index 2. Still not working. Oh, it's because we haven't set a background color. So let's give this a background color of white. And let's fix, we thought we were going to fix it with z index, but we were smooth brained on that one. So we're going to put that back. So on inner, we can get rid of this z index. And we can also get rid of the shade z index. And we're still in business now. Okay, so close and open. Awesome. And now I'm realizing I can actually call this sky because it's the center or in the middle. So let's give it a blue sky. Something like, I like that. And this window inner needs to get that kind of darker color. Yeah, just like that. Put an outline on here, 5 pixels, dim gray. What do we want? This is going to be a little bit more. Yeah, that's kind of cute. I like that. Oh, Pops is in the house. All my biggest fans are here. Thank you for the support. And I think that's pretty good. Let's see, close, open. Yeah, we've got a window going on here. Dad, I'm curious if you saw my tweet. This is a wholesome stream right here. It's good. All right, sky, we're gonna put things in the center for now, but we'll move them. The way I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna build the cloud with which is a couple divs in our CSS, right? So let's call this cloud wrap. And I want this cloud to take up like 70% of the window. Yeah, that would be cool. And I want it to have some height also, 30%. Let's drop a div block inside of there. We'll call this cloud puff. Just like that. And this is going to be a circle. So 3 rem by 3 rem. Paint it white. Make it a circle. Border radius 50 VW. And now let's see how we want to do this. So on cloud wrap, I'm going to how do I want to do this? Let me set this position to relative, and I'll use the position of the cloud puff to get what I want. So these are going to be absolute. I said absolute workout in the title, so let's be true to that. So I'm making copies of these. I'm Control C, Control V over here. So now you can see we have multiple cloud puffs. They're all position absolute, so they're all stacking on top of each other. But I will push them to the bottom left corner, and I'll just play around with these values here to build out our cloud. So I'm realizing I want this the default to be a little bit bigger, so 4 rem by 4 rem. And then cloud puff, I'll give this a combo class of is2 so that I can start styling how this thing looks. And let's make it smaller. Oh yeah, this is going to look so good. And this will be is3. And this one will be 6 rem by 6 rem, big boy. That's too big. Yeah, too big. 5 rem by 5 rem. Let's move this one here. This one over here. Yeah, whatever. We can play with this later if we want. And the last puff we'll give a combo class of is4, and let's just set it to the bottom right. And that's the ugliest cloud you've ever seen, but wait, watch this. Putting another div block in here, we're going to make it position absolute. We're going to have it cover the bottom, and we'll give it some height, say 50% of its parent div. That's a little too big. I can see if I zoom in, let's see, yeah, you see that little blue box there? We don't want that light blue poking out, because what we're going to do, yeah, I like that, is we will just go ahead and give this that white background, and we can say, I don't know, 50 VW here. Is that going to work? Yep. And 50 VW here. Now that is a fantastic cloud. Very pleased with myself on that one. And let's duplicate it. So now we have 2 clouds. And the second one, we want it to be a little bit smaller, and we can see what happens. Oh, this is 2. Let's make it bigger. No. Let's use the scale property instead. So what we'll do, I think I said I originally wanted to make it smaller, so on scale we'll just scale it down a little bit. And yeah, that's good. Let's get into the animation. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Things looking good here. So we have our basic setup. Now I want to make sure that sky here is set to overflow hidden. And all I'm going to do is translate the position of cloud wrap from left to right on page load. So to do that, come over to interactions pane here, page trigger. When page finishes loading, I'll have an action, start an animation, new animation. We'll call it cloud 1. And I want to select the cloud wrap. We're going to move it from X position of negative 100%, a little bit more than that, please. Yeah, why not? That looks good. Alexander B, thanks for coming. It is not going to be on scroll. We could do that. That'd be fun. We'd want to make this whole thing sticky. Yeah, if you want to see that, give me a thumbs up and maybe we can make it happen. But I'm gonna do it timed for now, just on page load. And okay, back to where we were. Set as initial state. No, I don't need to do, well, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll set the initial state here, and then we're gonna wanna move it all the way over to the right. So 100% and a little more. Is it gonna be 124%? Yes, it is. That's gonna take, let's make that take 1 second. Yeah, that'll be good for now. It'll be linear. And we're going to then finish this animation by sending it back to negative 124%. And this duration is going to be 0 because we just want it to snap back and we're going to loop this animation. So let's see what we got. Boom, boom, boom. It's too fast. It needs a delay right here. So let's delay this by 0.5 seconds. Boom, boom. All right, we're at 30,000 feet in the air, but we're actually in my bedroom on the internet building Webflow websites. That's it for Cloud 1, and Cloud 2 is going to be pretty much the same thing, but since it's smaller, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, it's smaller, so it's more off in the distance. So I'm going to have that one move a little bit slower, hit you with some parallax on this one. So let's create a new page trigger on page load is what I want. And when page finishes loading, start an animation. Let's duplicate Cloud 1, call it Cloud 1 2, but we're actually going to rename it to Cloud 2. And we want to change the target to this cloud wrap, change the target to this cloud wrap, and change the target to this cloud wrap. And now let's make it a little bit more fun by specifying this as being 2 seconds long, and our delay here will be something like 0.7 seconds. Save and loop and preview, and let's see how it's looking. We've got clouds moving, pretty cool. We got an airplane window. We can click it to close it, and we can click it to open it. That is all that I have planned for this stream. I'll make this thing clonable, so if you're curious, you can have a look. But thank you for tuning in, and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.